Hey, this is David Williams. I'm here with Josh Oliver this morning. Josh, how's it going?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
So we
Everything's
both,
well. Yep.
yeah, everything's well. We've both been up since the wee hours of the morning. I didn't ask you, prior to chatting a little bit before diving on this, I didn't ask you if you went back to sleep or you've been up that long because I've been up a little longer.
No, I took a little power nap, but I'm good. I'm good. Just out serving folks, It's a good thing.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I want you to briefly just mention your name and who you are, and then I'll give you an opportunity to expand on that at the end of this. So dive into that, and then we'll have a conversation.
Awesome. I appreciate the opportunity to chat a little bit. My name is Josh Oliver. I'm with RestorePro Reconstruction, and we handle all things fire, water, mold, wind, storm damage, all of that. So, and we cover the Carolinas. Been around in business for quite some time, and our mission is to serve and bring value to our community as well, and give glory to God. So it's a good scenario that we're working in right now, and bringing hope to folks. So it's a good opportunity
Good.
to connect with you.
That's people definitely. Well, you said bringing hope to folks. This is Hope Now 2020 is the website
Yes.
that I started to bring messages of hope. We want to be positive and upbeat. Life happens, things happen, but we want to offer a message of positive encouragement. And people may wonder, well, why has he got this guest from this particular company? And the reality of it is obviously you've been in other leadership positions. You understand business, you understand networking. So, that is a key reason, because we've known each other for so long. I know that you can bring some value to some things that, you're going to share with us today. So for the next few minutes, we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. I'll jot some notes and maybe come back and say, well, Josh, can you expand on that a little bit? But with that said, talk to me about, it can be personal development, it can be business development. Just kind of share some things you've learned through life lessons and how you continue to stay in those leadership business roles. I know you do some networking, and just share some things that people may be able to take away and say, you know what, I got a couple of key bits from that talk that David and Josh had, and wow, I think I can implement some things and make a difference. So let me give you the floor.
Well, that's a there's a lot to unpack on all that. So, I've been very blessed to grow up, in North Carolina. I'm from the coast of North Carolina. I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole career, and I guess the theme through all of the different businesses that I've been a part of has been in service, and that's something that really is easy for me to get a hold of. I love building teams. I love being a part of the community and serving where there needs to be issues met. And I've been very grateful along the way. I've been in 7 different industries. I've either owned or been a part of the executive team to help build brand scale, depending on what that market was. And I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of um, battle scars through the issues, and had a lot of wins as well. And God's been very faithful to um, allow me to be a part of that along the way. So it's good stuff. I think one of
And
the
some
bigger
of the
things right
things that,
now. Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. Oh,
And
what
I
I
was
was
just
saying
going to
was,
say, yeah,
I think
you
I might
still,
have a
are you
lag
there?
on you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag. It's like we're on the news, like when they're talking overseas, and you got that little
If
bit
it,
of a pause, but it adds a different dynamic. I know that you're trying to do this remotely on the go, and I
yeah,
haven't said to people yet that you're sitting in your car. So it's a nice
yeah,
background to be sitting in your car, but obviously we got that. It reminds me of those newscasts. So, but what I was going to say is,
yeah,
expanding on what you just said, obviously 7 different industries, leadership roles, ownership roles. You've got, and you said you've got the battle scars and you've got some good wins. So talk about some of the things that you've learned, and some of the, advice that you would have for somebody in a leadership role, or thinking about, hey, I'm going to start this business and I'm going to run with it. What's some of your life lessons you've learned over the years?
Yeah. So, rule number one is you have to have empathy for people, and you have to go into every relationship and every opportunity to serve with a clean slate. And that's very, very hard to maintain throughout, hundreds of different opportunities that come along the way throughout the year. A lot of times it's easy to say, well, I've seen this movie before, so, this is the way it's going to work out. But I've been pleasantly surprised many times, and I've also been burned by a lot of situations. But, I have I guess, a long track record now of kind of having opportunities to practice what I preach, and to have empathy and to have patience. And that's the number one thing. So when you're building a team, giving them the right tools, giving them the authority to make decisions and for them to skin their own knees when necessary. Those are really important things to do when you're building a team and trying to bring a service to someone. But yeah, empathy, patience, maintaining encouragement throughout the process, having mentors to align with are all very crucial in the development. And you're never going to know it all. You're never going to know it all. And you want to surround yourself with smart folks. And that's it's a beautiful part of the journey.
There's a guest that I had the other day that was talking about, the old analogy that we've probably heard. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find another room. The smartest person in your circle, you need to find another circle. One of the things I picked up on what you said, because I typically take notes during these because that's how I come up with my titles, is you said authority to make decisions. So when I hear that, and I don't think anybody that I don't know, I've probably done 15 of these things or so at this point, close to it. Some of them are not live yet, but actually I made 3 live this morning and got one that I just finished before you. But what I was getting to is authority to make decisions. That to me is something that can be, because I know what it's like to be a business owner, and it can be kind of challenging to give, right? Because it's like my baby, so to speak. It's my business, and it's like, do I really want them making the decision? Talk to me about that piece, because that's something that stood out to me that I haven't heard from any of the other guests, and I want to get an idea of what that looks like. And you could even share some successes and some failures in that area. But I think that's important because obviously people don't want to feel like they're micromanaged. So talk to me for a moment about authority to make decisions and what that looks like.
So in the experiences that I've had, finding people that have the proper character and the drive and passion to do a particular service or being a part of a team, that's what I typically look for. Training and development and giving them authority to do their jobs and to stay out of it is the hardest part, because you love the energy and the zest that they have to do the role, but sometimes you're like, it's not going to work out so well. And so you have to be very measured. I've always been a fan of really genuinely caring for the folks that you work with and investing in their lives personally. I find it very difficult to disconnect work from personal life. And to me, it's a journey that we're all on together. And so when you're helping develop them as a person, as a father, as a parent, as a leader in the community, I've got people that mentor me, and I love to be able to pass that down and mentor other folks as well. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. People are people. If you don't understand people, you don't understand businesses. That's been said so many times, and it's so true. So allowing people to develop, giving them some runway to skin their knees a little bit, guide them, be encouraging, being positive. There's been several situations in my career where I've seen folks that were in one particular role for a very long time, and they had opportunities to go above and beyond, but they never got there because they were scared, they were intimidated, they didn't want to work for a certain person. There's a host of different factors for that, but if you can find those folks that are worth investing in and you invest in them, that's the most rewarding and amazing feeling in the world, to see them actually fly and succeed and to do well. Like to me, that's the end game, is to change the trajectory of other people's lives. And no matter what the, the money says, or what the fame says, or what the size of the business it is, I was kind of thinking about, a quote from Mother Teresa that I just recently was pondering. If you can't feed 100 people, then go out and feed one. And so if you're a solo entrepreneur, if you run a multi-million dollar, hundreds of people business, if you're engaging and inputting and developing leadership skills in your personal team and allowing them to develop and build their own teams along with that, it's just a powerful position to be in. Absolutely powerful position to be in. And I think that's the real value that comes from being in business and being an entrepreneur.
You shared some good advice in there. You said you find it hard to separate the personal and the business side, and I get that piece of it, of what you're saying. I have a tendency to be too business focused, to be perfectly honest. But one of the things that I've learned over the last several years is a little bit better about giving that authority, like you've talked about in here. So at least I've got better in that part. The beauty is with Brenda, my wife, working in the business with me, she'll be more likely to ask about the personal side. So we kind of, can find some balance that way. But what I want you to do as we get ready to close out, there's two other topics I want to talk to you about briefly. One, you made me think about it on the personal side. You're a father with young children.
Yes.
And so I've got adult daughters that are married. They're no longer at the house. And as I look at it now, of course, I'm older than you are. I think, man, what would it be like to have, 2 or 3 children at home right now? But I've already been through that. And sometimes I guess it's a tendency to forget, okay, I've already had that journey. And I did it when I was younger and was a little bit easier at that point. But just talk to me briefly. And then I got one other question for you, and then we'll close out. But what it's like to balance, because you told me you were out in the wee hours of the morning with what you guys do now. So finding that balance as a career person and a husband and a father, especially when you got 3 children. Thanks to us, Instagram is one. We're connected on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So obviously on Instagram, I see some of your pictures of your kids and things like that. And so I know that you spend some time with them. I see a lot of you guys doing a lot of fun stuff, but talk briefly about that work-life balance for me. And then I got one other question.
I think it's crucial that people, they really got to push in to have that work-life balance and bring your family along with you. And a lot of times, guys in particular, we like to separate work from home life. And like my kids this morning, I was at unfortunate fire at a family's home last night till about 3:00 in the morning. And we're sitting outside the home right now in my car, but I was able to jump home, get a shower, take a quick power nap for about an hour, and then wake up, have breakfast with the kids, and talk to them about the fire, talk to them about how the family was safe. And they asked a bunch of questions, and my son came up to me when I was leaving, and he gave me a fist pump, and he goes, "Dad, you take care of them." And I was like, "Yes, I will." And so like, you're having interactions with little kids, and they don't understand the complete picture, but they understand that I'm out serving and I'm not just disappeared, right? And so I think it's important that the kids understand what you do, and that you're just not gone. You're out helping and serving in whatever function it might be. It might be IT, it might be photography, it might be, anything, food service, whatever the scenario is, you're out helping and serving other folks. And if your kids understand that, and you're investing in time in them and quality time, that bacon and eggs for 20 minutes this morning was great. And the kids need that type of attention. And it only took 20 minutes of dedicated, focused time.
That was a great short summary there. So I'm glad you were able to make that very concise and very meaningful. And it's a good point to what you said. What I heard you say right there at the end is the 20 minutes of quality time. So I think we all realize quality over quantity, because we can be around somebody for a couple of hours, but not truly be present. So being present in
Mm-hmm.
those 20 minutes is better than being there for 2 hours and being checked out. So with all that said,
Okay.
I'm going to throw you a curveball here at the end that we haven't
Okay.
talked about. Drummer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you used to be. Look, you kind of like act like I shocked you, but I know you did some drumming back in the day. So a little bit about that, just so people realize there's a whole another side there. Just speak
Yeah.
to me briefly about that, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. You know, when you look at me, there's nothing about me that says I was a professional musician for 10 years, but except for maybe my waistline. But anyway, I was able to have the opportunity to write music with a bunch of good dudes from Eastern North Carolina, where we grew up, and we were able to take it to the next level. And we toured all over the world for about 8 years straight. Did about 250 shows a year, and got nominated for a Grammy. Did a bunch of really cool things, and more importantly, we were able to write songs that brought people hope and joy and encouragement and motivation to get through whatever they're going through. And again, that just speaks to my heart and speaks to fulfilling the purpose, no matter what the scenario is. And even if you think it's an insurmountable odds against you, I mean, we were four random dudes that were jamming in a storage shed in an amusement park back in the late 90s in Carteret County, North Carolina. And next thing you know, a few years later, we were playing in front of hundreds of thousands of folks. And so
Wow.
it's an amazing thing that just making the steps and taking action and going out and making things happen will do for you in your life. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm glad that I asked that question because you mentioned the music writing part. I knew a little bit about the drumming piece, but the music writing part and message of hope, music does change our lives, and being able to write
Absolutely.
messages of hope is awesome. So I'm glad that I brought up that drummer part. That also lets people know a little bit more about you that if I hadn't have brought it up, they might not have known. So what we're going to
Uh,
do now is wrap it up. I know you well enough that you didn't have an agenda by taking time out of your day. I appreciate you going ahead and making it happen under the circumstances that
yeah.
you've we're dealing with in the early hours this morning. But what I'd like for you to do now is just talk about the website, where to find the website, how to find you, any closing thoughts on that piece, so we can have a URL in the mix and those type of things, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Sure, absolutely. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to share with you and to learn and grow from you. You've been quite a mentor in my life as well, especially on the photography side, which I'm a budding artist with my little iPhone. But anyway, the appreciate all that you're doing for your community and bringing this to light as well. But my company in particular, RestorePro.com is our web address. My email is josh.oliver at trustrestorepro.com. My cell phone, 919-369-5415. I'm always available to serve no matter what. And I cover the Carolinas for fire, water, or mold.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure, Josh Oliver, having you today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, sir. You be blessed, and thank you so much.